That's better. Ooh. Do not knock the teapot off the sofa, Stanley. Okay. Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Stanley, and we're here to talk about books. So today I am filming my mid-year book tag, and this is not the time. It's 5:30 in the morning. Don't ask. I don't know. I think I left my brain in Australia along with my voice, but this is the time that I have, and so I'm going to do it because I'm already late filming this. Anyway, we're here. We made it. I have notes. My laptop's over here. This is going to be a disaster, I can tell. So please forgive me. Yeah, mid-year book tag. So, best book you've read so far this year. I hate to admit it because I'm still kind of annoyed. Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinnerman. It was so good. And I thought I was going to hate it. And now I'm in the middle of book 4. Nothing really more to say about that. Best sequel I've read so far this year. So I think the most satisfying series continuation that I've read in the first half of 2026 would be Sweep of the Heart by Ilona Andrews, which is book 5 in the Innkeeper Chronicles series. It was a little bit annoying because this is going to be a theme. Annoyance. I'm annoyed. I've lost my train of thought again. I thought that it was the last in the series. I thought that was going to be it. And it was a 5-star read. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely loved it. Ended on a cliffhanger. Overarching plot of the series not yet resolved. But I love this series. I'm not mad about the fact that there's another one, despite the fact that there's no release date due to a book that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But it's about Dina, who lives on Earth in the American South, and she runs a magical inn that forms a conduit to the wider galaxy. So the inn can form portals to different planets, and it's also a place where people from other planets can come to Earth and receive what they need to when they're staying there. So like different types of atmosphere, weird food, anything that they require. And they will also be safe there because the links to the wider universe are not known to the general populace on Earth. And it's great. It's a really great series. Definitely highly recommend. It's got everything. It's got humor, it's got heart, it's got emotion, it's got depth, it's got excitement, it's got action, it's got fantastic characters, it's got a really interesting world. I absolutely love it, and I'm so glad that I got to book 5 this year because it had been a little while, and I will very much look forward to reading book 6 if and when it ever appears. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Definitely As You Wake, Break the Shell by Becky Chambers, who is one of my very few auto-buy authors, probably my favourite author. Love her stuff. And new Becky Chambers, can't wait. I haven't looked up anything about it because I'm going to use it as the judge a book by its title prompt for Reddit Fantasy Bingo, and hard mode is to read the book without finding out anything about it. But it's Becky Chambers, so, I'm going to read it regardless. And the title is very intriguing. So I'm expecting found family. I'm expecting heartwarming sci-fi-ness. I'm expecting queerness. I'm expecting it'll probably make me cry. I have very high expectations for this book, but that is definitely the one that I'm most looking forward to. I've missed one. Sorry. New release I haven't read yet but want to is the book that I mentioned earlier, which is preventing Ilona Andrews from completing the Innkeeper Chronicles, and that's This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me, which came out last month, I think, and is by Ilona Andrews, which is I found out actually from the finding out about this book that Ilona Andrews is actually a husband and wife team, which I did not know before and is really interesting. I find that an interesting concept. This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me kind of sounds a bit like Long Live Evil, which I did not get on with and actually DNF'd some point last year, in that, as far as I'm aware, the protagonist finds themselves transported into their favourite book series and has to deal with that. And I love that as a concept, and I trust Ilona Andrews because I've really enjoyed their other work, as I've said. So I'm thinking that that's going to be a good time. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that when it comes out. No, it's already out. Oh my God, Stanley, help. Help me, Stanley. Right. Biggest, so I've done the anticipated. Yeah, okay. I'm back on track. Biggest disappointment so far. Very sad. Still very sad about this. Hyped or highly anticipated book that didn't work for you. Alibi by Sharon Shin, which I picked for, no, my dad picked for our family book club. And my dad and I have a little bit of a complicated history with family book club, wherein we very rarely agree. And we got into this kind of a feud where we would be deliberately picking books to annoy the other one. More annoyance to do with reading. It's a theme, apparently, in this video. And I thought we'd got past that, so we'd stopped actually actively trying to annoy each other with our books. And then he picked Alibi by Sharon Shin, one of my favourite authors, who wrote the books that got my tattoos from Sharon Shin books. So, you know, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. A book we can connect over. Absolutely love the fact that there's a new Sharon Shin coming out. And I did not like that book. Didn't like it. And I was very sad. It didn't read like Sharon Shin at all. And I just thought it was really poorly written. My dad loved it. So, you know, more power to him. As I always say, family book club, I wish I liked things more and I wish I liked more things. But yeah, that was a sad disappointment to me. Oh well. Biggest surprise so far. A book you went into with low expectations but absolutely loved. This could apply to Dungeon Crawler Carl, but I'm not going to do repeats in this. I believe my first 5-star book of the year. And that is strange for me because up until last year, I think I'd had maybe 10 5-star books in about 15 years. I think I've had one every month so far in 2026. So whilst there have been annoyances, I've also had a fantastic reading year so far. Admittedly, I've changed the way that I rate books. So it's more about the reading experience and the vibes than it is about me trying to objectively analyse the merits or otherwise of the book. And I'm having a much better time with my reading. But anyway, back to biggest surprise so far. The Book of Elsewhere by Keanu Reeves and China Miéville, which my brother gave me for my birthday, I think last year, and I read in January. And on paper, sorry Stanley, that was terrible. It was a good choice for him to pick because I love Keanu Reeves, I love China Miéville, and the book on the blurb sounds really great. But I had heard really terrible things about this, and I think I tried to listen to the audiobook sometime a while ago and failed because it was almost impossible to comprehend. But I gave it a try, and I don't know what this book did to me because I think objectively it's actually terrible. But I loved it, start to finish. Phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to reading it again. So yes, it's about, I can't even remember, about a character known as B, who works for a shady military agency, and he's not immortal. When he dies, he comes back, and it's nonsense. This is absolute nonsense, and aspects of it are almost unreadable. It's very difficult to follow. It's very gory, but I loved it. 5 stars. First 5-star of the year. Anyway, too much waffle. Come on, focus. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? Interestingly, this was not a 5-star book for me. It was 4.5. But this is the author I think I think about most, and it was a new author to me. Recommendation from Louise over on Foxes and Fairy Tales. So thank you again to Louise. Emily Tesh, because I read The Incandescent and I wasn't sure whether I was going to like it or not, and I really, really enjoyed it. It didn't quite hit 5-star levels for various reasons, but it was about a teacher in a school where they teach magic, but it was more focused on the governance of the school and aspects of being a teacher than it was about summoning demons and magic shenanigans. I mean, it had that as well, but I really, really enjoyed that, and I had a lot of connections to the main character, a lot of aspects of her character, her background, her personality, her preferences really matched me, so I felt very connected to her, and I really enjoyed the romance, and I really enjoyed the risk assessment health and safety forms. I mean, who doesn't love a risk assessment health and safety form? So yes, I definitely want to read more from Emily Tesh. Newest favourite character, Cadwallader from Lightfall, the Galdorian from Lightfall. He was amazing. I love him, and I can't wait for more installments of that series to come out. I really, really enjoyed all 4. Cadwallader, when he first turns up in the books, he's quite silly, but over the course of the 4 volumes that are out, there are so many layers to him, so much depth, and there's so much heart. He has so much heart and a really adorable smile. He's kind of like a anthropomorphic frog guy, I think, kind of some kind of amphibian or fish. And he's great. Love him. Absolutely love him. Books that made you cry. This is an interesting one because that's quite rare. I was going to say I'm fairly emotionless. That's not true. Stanley, you know I'm not emotionless. I don't tend to express my emotions. I don't connect very easily to my emotions, but I do have them. I promise I do have them. But I've got 3. I've got 3 books that made me cry. The first one is The Summer That Changed Us by Kathy Bramley, which is a fairly standard, I hate to use the word, but chick lit summer book about 3 women in a small town. But it really, really hit me. I was in tears by the end, and Dave was like, oh my God, what happened? Was it really sad? And I was like, no, it was lovely. But I particularly enjoyed it because the 3 women really, really reminded me of me and 2 of my closest friends, 2 of my newest friends, but 2 of my closest friends, Beck and Caroline. Love you, ladies. I'm getting teary while thinking about it. And there were a lot of, the actual story was completely different, but the connection that they have really reminded me of me and my friends. Wow. And then much more recently, Peace Like a River by Leif Enger. Took me by surprise, the romance in this, which I didn't even know there was romance in it. It's very kind of literary, not the sort of book that I generally tend to read. It's about a family in the 1960s, I think, in the American Midwest, and there's a shooting and somebody goes on the run and the rest of the family are trying to find them and all of this. But the connections that they forge and the romance, really got me by the end. It's another one that I was reading parts out to Dave and choking up while I was reading them, so that was great. And the other one, The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, which I bought Dave bought me for last year's Herkid 2.0 hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, for something with Earth in the title, and I didn't read it. So I've read it this year, and again, this totally made me cry. It's about a little boy who's deaf and the community around him coming together to protect him from the state. And yeah, the end of this totally got me. So I've been crying a lot with my reading. Very unusual. Book that made you happy. Heartstopper. I read the whole of Heartstopper on my trip to Australia last week, and they really, really made me happy. I hadn't planned to read them because I've watched the whole of the TV show, and I thought, well, there's no point in reading the comics, but I'm so glad I did. So glad that I read the comics. Absolutely worth it. It's a comic book series by Alice Oseman. The last volume actually came out last week, I think on the day that I was travelling back from Australia. So I read all 6, and it's about 2 teenage boys who get together at school, and their friends and their relationship, and their families, and it's just the best. Most beautiful book you've bought? Yeah, anybody who watched the short, I'll put a link to the short of me actually unboxing my first ever book unboxing. I had a weak moment when I came out of hospital earlier in June and bought special editions of books from an author that I've never read before, which is just foolish. 6 Crimson Cranes. Beautiful cover. It's really, really nice to touch. It's got the sprayed edges. It's got the art. It's got the embossed hardcover. It's signed, and I bought 4 of her books in a bundle on eBay, which I think I got a very, very good deal. Don't get me wrong, I didn't go overboard, but I've never read any Elizabeth Lim before. I actually started this a couple of days ago because I couldn't wait. I'm not a mood reader. If you've watched any of my videos, I am planning up the wazoo. I have a TBR game. I think I've got 10 reading challenges that I'm reading for. I've always got, multiple months in advance planning my reading, always know what my next book is. And I got back from Australia on Saturday and I was just like, I want to read this. It's not on the TBR. It's going to mess up all of my plans. I want to read it. And I am about 50 pages in, 73 pages in. And it's not what I wanted it to be. It's not what I expected it to be. But I'm having a good time. I am enjoying it. So I will talk more about that in another video, because this is already going on way too long and we've got more things to do. Book you need to read by the end of the year. Priority book on your unread shelves that you refuse to skip. Well, I don't know, because I've already skipped this multiple times. I bought In the Shadow Garden by Liz Parker specifically for last year's Reddit Fantasy Bingo, and I didn't get around to reading it. I replaced it with a different book. So I put it on this year's Reddit Fantasy Bingo, and over the course of my trip to Australia, replaced it with a different book that I read for that prompt. So it's been bumped. I'm not sure if I put it in last year. I think I probably did put it in Herkid 2.0 and didn't get around to reading it and replaced it. I've definitely put it in Herkid 3.0 and also replaced it with something else. So this has been bumped from reading challenges 4 times. But I think I can find other prompts for Herkid that this will fit. I think I can use it for the birthday flower because it's chrysanthemum for me. And that what a couple of the flowers maybe look like. I think I can claim that they're chrysanthemums. Yeah, I need to read this book because it's been hanging around and I've been putting it on challenge spreadsheets and then taking it off far too long. So In the Shadow Garden by Liz Parker. I think it's a cozy, contemporary fantasy about a family of witches. Anyway, so there you go. So that's my mid-year book tag, but we have more things to do because before I went to Australia, I was approaching 100 subscribers and I got very excited about it. And I said that when I hit 100 subscribers, I would do an Ask Stanley Anything video and that people should submit questions. And it's been a little while and I have collected some questions and I've now got 159 subscribers. So I have no idea how that happened. We're doing well, Stanley. Very well. Just remembered that we haven't made any tea, but the teapot is there. It hasn't got any tea in it. Moment has passed. But we're here. 159 subscribers. Can't believe it. Thank you so much if you are a subscriber, either a new subscriber or an old subscriber. I love you all. Thank you very much for joining me on this amazing YouTube journey. Yes, I know, Stanley. I'm waffling again. So, questions from Louise. How and when did you meet Annie? When? When did we meet, Stanley? Was it New Year 2018? New Year 2019? It was Christmas 2018 over into New Year 2019. I was at a friend's house for our annual board games weekend over New Year. And I had a bit of a meltdown over a board game. It's not my finest moment. And my friend Ruth let me have her giant teddy bear, Boris, to snuggle with to help me feel better. And that inspired me to bring the amazing Stanley into my life. And I mean, looking back, I couldn't have predicted how much Stanley has changed my life. We've done so many amazing things together. And here we are. So that's how Stanley and I met. Question for me, what's been the best thing you've done, found or learned since joining BookTube? Definitely the community. I was hoping, but I couldn't have predicted how well this had gone. I've played Louise's TBR game on Foxes and Fairy Tales. I've had a shout out for my channel from Nicky at my messy bookshelf. I've connected with Wren from the Reading Wren about Stargate TBR games because we both have those. I've had fantastic conversations with so many wonderful people in the comments on my videos and my comments on their videos. I've been really enjoying finding other really small BookTube channels and connecting with the people there and us supporting each other. It's been so fantastic, and I'm having so much fun with it. From Kimberly, wants to know, how old is Stanley? So you came into my life on the 6th of January 2019, which means he's 7. He's 7. Still a baby. Still a baby, Stanley. You've done so much in 7 years. Does Stanley have a favourite book? Do you have a favourite book, Stanley? I don't know. I would say anything that's big and heavy enough to yeet off camera into the tripod when we're doing Read It or Yeet It videos. Is that fair? I also think he's looking forward to the next family book club choice, which is chosen by my brother, which is called Beyond the Burn Line, because it's about a post-human society of intelligent bears. So we're both looking forward to that one. And from Tony, how did you and Stanley meet? We've already answered that one. What is the most interesting thing you and he have done together? Probably this YouTube channel, not going to lie. But we also wrote a book. I collected all these books for the video and I forgot to get your book, Stanley. I'll put a picture of it up here. It's called Meditations on Being Amazing, One Bear's Guide to Acknowledging Your Own Worth. And it's Stanley's wisdom, basically. There's sections of memoir, different aspects of Stanley's life. There are meditation guides for different meditation exercises. There are life lessons that Stanley has taught me about being a better friend to myself. And there are journaling prompts as well, so that you can learn from Stanley's wisdom as well. I mean, it's all Stanley's work. It's from his point of view. It's got sections from other people as well, our friends, who have benefited from knowing Stanley. One of the chapters is written by Boris, the giant bear that I mentioned earlier, my friend Ruth's bear, Boris. And it's my favourite of my books that I have been involved with. And I definitely think it's the best. So go and buy it, because Stanley needs your support and everybody needs more Stanley in their lives. Does Stanley or you have a favourite book or genre? What do you think? What have we been enjoying recently? We've been enjoying a lot of middle grade comics recently, I would say. Amulet, Five Worlds, Lightfall, the Tea Dragon Society. So I'm getting a lot out of middle grade comics. And I think Stanley's been enjoying them as well, because they're largely very cute and have very good self-affirming messages. What is one classic Stanley thinks everyone should read at least once? Thoughts? Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh. I mean, yeah, everybody needs more fantastic bears in their lives, and I would say Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne would be a good choice. Do you agree? Yeah, I think you agree. Is there any other book that you or Stanley think should be read by everyone, and why? Yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl. I mean, I'm going to start the video with Dungeon Crawler Carl and end the video with Dungeon Crawler Carl. I put off reading it for such a long time, even though everybody was going on and on about how amazing it was, because I was like, I'm not going to like it. And I did. Everybody was right. I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong, but I'm also still annoyed. So yes, if there's anyone left in the world who hasn't decided yet whether they want to give it a try, because it's really good. You should definitely listen to the audiobooks, because phenomenal. And what's the worst that could happen? Either you find a new favourite series and you've got 8, 9, 10 books to read, or you don't like it and then you'll know and you never have to think about it ever again. What is Stanley's favourite colour? Yellow. It's yellow, isn't it? Stanley likes yellow because it's bright and sunshiny and closest to the colour of his fur. So there you go. That was my 100 subscriber celebration Ask Stanley Anything video, and the mid-year book tag. I'm gonna go and try and find my brain, because I've got work to do today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being a subscriber if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Please do like this video if you liked it, and you can look forward to more chaotic, ridiculous content of me and Stanley talking about books. So I'll see you in another video very soon, and I can't drink the tea because there's no tea to drink. Bye for now.